Hi guys! Okay, I'm gonna do this quickly for the fun of it before my phone dies. Or before somebody texts me. Harrison Ford is number 18 on this list. My favorite film ever of his is probably like the Star Wars movies. I got introduced to Empire when I was like 5. I was flipping through the channels with my father. Then I saw the I Love You, I Know. It's probably also my first introduction to Darth Vader. And even though I was scared of a poster when I went to go see like Garfield with my friends when I was like 9 or something. I want to say I was 9. But yeah. And it's one of like John Williams' greatest scores ever besides my other favorite, Indiana Jones. I love a good bullwhip and fedora, Harrison Ford. I cannot wait to see what they do. Pardon me. I cannot wait to see what they do with Indiana 5, I think it is. Even though I don't think it's gonna be made, because like he'll be like 78 when he goes back into the fedora bullwhip thingy. Unless they can like de-age him a little bit, even though he like shaved and stuff. So I wonder if he's getting started, kind of getting ready right now, or whatever for it. And I wonder like how they're gonna do it though, because he's gonna be 78. Why not? River Phoenix, Joaquin's brother, was the young Indiana Jones in Last Crusade. Once again, one of John Williams' greatest scores ever. Then you got The Fugitive, based off of a TV series of the same name in like 1960s. And then a little short miniseries in like the 2000s. Then one of my celebrity crushes who's coming up soon, is going to like on my list, is going to be like the detective that goes after somebody similar to Harrison Ford's Richard Kimball. In another version called The Fugitive. Then you got Air Force One of the greatest films ever of Harrison Ford's career, besides like the trilogies and stuff like that. Get Off My Plane at Gary Oldman. There's a few of my celebrity crushes, I believe, or older celebrity crushes that I did not bother putting on this list on here, including like one of the guys I put last on this list, but I'm rearranging and putting Joaquin and the other guy on this list towards the end. Then you got this guy named Harvey Keitel. He's Jack Crawford, the guy that assigns Will Graham to go investigate deaths of somebody with the help of Hannibal Lecter. And actually, Jack Crawford, not Harvey's version, but one of the other guys' versions, Scott Glenn's, would also, and Lawrence Fishburne, would also help Will Graham, or Clarice Starling rather, go into Hannibal's mind. You also have Sister Act. He's like the mobster or gang member who sends his goons after Whoopi Goldberg, who's hiding in that religious community. You have Thelma and Louise with like a young Brad Pitt and like Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis from like Beetlejuice and them. And you got From Dusk Till Dawn, the movie that Quentin Tarantino, George Clooney, when I was talking about earlier, I believe. Then you got this guy named James Cromwell. He's known for sending Clint Eastwood, Donald Sutherland, Tommy Lee Jones, and this guy named James Garner up into space to go fix up the space station, which is like a prequel or whatever, in a way, to this film called Ad Astra with Donald Sutherland and Tommy Lee Jones in that as well, even though they're not like the same characters, but isn't that just a funny coincidence? Even though James Cromwell's not in Ad Astra, also knows the one that I was talking about. He's also in that remake version of Salem's Lot that Donald Sutherland, Rutger Hauer, Rob Lowe, Salem's Lot, the one that scares me. There's this movie from like the 1970s called The Longest Yard, and there's a remake of it that had Adam Sandler as the late great Burt Reynolds character, who gets all crazy like and then thrown into prison, and the prison guards get all crazy at them, like they want to beat them up and torture them so badly that the warden, played by James Cromwell in the remake, and like Eddie Albert or something in the original, decides to put up a football game, hence why it's called The Longest Yard. Burt Reynolds and this guy named Ed Lauter, who was, I think he was like the mechanic in Cujo. You know that Stephen King film about that rabid dog? But I think Ed Lauter has a cameo. He was kind of Captain Canara, played by one of my guys towards the end of this list named William Fickner. And he's just like one of Captain Canara, played by Warden Hazen, played by James Cromwell's friends in this one. And Burt Reynolds is basically like your football coach. Like, he's one of the inmates as well that's, like, hiding in the corners until you least expect it. And also, we found out John Hammond wasn't the only one, obviously, that invented the park. But that, I don't remember what his character's name was, but that James Cromwell's character also invented the park in Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom. Then you got the guy that was mentioned from The Boys from Brazil, James Mason. He was the second guy to play Norman Maine, or Jackson Maine, whatever you want to call him, for A Star Is Born. This one had Judy Garland in it, who probably like 20 or something years later would, before A Star Is Born, would be Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. He's also in this movie called Lolita about like this teenage girl who everyone finds attractive. James Mason finds her so attractive that like he kills somebody that's in love with her, that's like an older man, just because he wants her for himself. You also have him in the original Salem's Lot. His version scares me so much that I don't want to see Donald Sutherland or that remake in general of Salem's Lot. And he, like I said before in the previous video, he's the one that connects Gregory Peck and Sarah Laurence Olivier to each other, basically. This list is about to get greater, guys. And then I have to do my last guys. I may save them for, like, the next thingy. Okay. Then you got Kevin Costner. Like I said in, like, one of the first thingies. He's my favorite version of Wyatt Earp, along with, like, Dennis Quaid. That's my favorite version of Doc Holliday. Great amazing music. One of Lawrence Kasdan's greatest. And I'm going to mention him again in a second. Like Lawrence Kasdan. Then you got the greatest baseball film ever, once I mentioned again at the beginning, I believe. Also in this Field of Dreams, that if you build it, you will come. Then you got this film called Silverado. Silverado would have one of my guys named Scott Glenn, who's coming up soon. Yeah, on like the other side of this page that I'm currently reading on. And Kevin Kline, Jeff Goldblum, Danny Glover, and a few other people. And so there was this film in like 1981 or something called Big Chill. Kevin had his like scenes cut out because his character ends up like committing suicide or something, and Lawrence Kasdan wanted to make it up for Kevin's character getting all of his scenes cut out or something. So his role came in Silverado. They were later reteamed for a film called The Bodyguard and a few other things, I believe. Kevin Costner did not wear tights for this film called Robin Hood. It's that Christian Slater, Morgan Freeman, late great Alan Rickman, Robin Hood. That has a little cameo from a fellow Robin Hood actor, which I'll get up to like soon. And he's also Elliot Ness in one of the greatest Robert De Niro films ever called The Untouchables, directed by Brian De Palma. Then you've got Kiefer Sutherland. He's known for kicking off the vampire movies, I guess, in this film called Lost Boys, which paved the way for like Vampire Diaries, paved the way for Twilight, and a few other thingies. Which introduced us to a bunch of people who you guys probably knew beforehand, like Corey Haim from the movie Lucas and like License to Drive, and also Silver Bullet, another Stephen King property. Stand By Me, very own Corey Feldman, and a few other people. You also have him actually in Stand By Me as well, Kiefer. And it's sort of like It, from what I can tell, without like the scary clown, without the scary elements, really. Based off that song, you know, do. I'm sure you guys will know it. He plays Josiah Doc Scurlock in Young Guns 1 and 2. And like I said beforehand, he is going to be in a remake version, a TV show remake, of The Fugitive. He's basically going to be the guy that goes after this guy named Boyd Holbrook, I believe, who is going to be like your Richard Kimball. in The Fugitive original, the TV, and Harrison Ford's version. I don't know if, like, the remake, the 2000s one, he was named Richard Kimball. He probably was. Oh, God. Then you got this guy named Lance Henriksen. He is known for being in the Alien movies. I think Aliens 2, but I forget what his character's name was. Bishop or something? He's known for teaching us who Damien Thorne really is in The Omen 2. And he's one of the astronauts that goes up with, like, once again, Dennis Quaid, Scott Glenn, Ed Harris for The Right Stuff. He's in this film called Pumpkinhead about, like, an urban legend. And he, like, wants revenge on people that killed his son. And there was actually, like, a few other Pumpkinhead sequels, and I think he was in them as well, like, as, like, flashbacks. And he's the voice of the caller in When a Stranger Calls remake that Just You Touch the Children. You know, like, where they're sleeping and ta-da! They end up dead, I believe. Then you got Sir Laurence Olivier. He's known for this film called Clash of the Titans, which is the first ever, like, version out of 2, possibly, including a video game or whatever, that introduced you probably to Dame Maggie Smith, like, in the 1980s. I don't know if she did anything before that. Because, like, Hook was 1990 something. 1991, or whatever. That would pave the way for Liam Neeson's version in, like, the 2010 or whatever. And he's in The Boys from Bristol, the one that is, like, the good guy that helps, along with the help of, like, James Mason a little bit, helps out finding Gregory Peck, stopping him before he could do something else to another family. Then you got Liam Neeson. He's known for being the Greek god Zeus in the remake version of Clash of the Titans, the one that I was just talking about, originally played by Sir Laurence Olivier, with, like, Sam Worthington, who, like, 4 years later would be in Avatar, and, like, Ray Fiennes, who usually plays bad guys like Voldemort and stuff. You got Schindler's List as the famous Oscar Schindler, who went broke saving a bunch of Polish Jews, including Ray Fiennes is also in that, and, like, Sir Ben Kingsley. I think he's a Sir. Star Wars, he teaches us about midichlorians. Maybe he'll also show up in Kenobi as a Force Ghost or as a voice. He just threatening calls to this person that kidnaps his family, or kidnaps the daughter, in this movie called Taken, which would pave the way for this film probably 9 years later, which I'm going to mention for my favorite actor of all time thingy. And he's in this film called The Deadpool. It's the last Dirty Harry thing, unless we get a prequel. And, like, introduced us kind of to Liam Neeson. It kind of also introduced us to, like, Jim Carrey in the 1980s. So, like, before Dumb and Dumber, before The Mask and stuff. You got Lou Diamond Phillips, who's known for being Walt Longmire, Robert Taylor's best friend in Longmire. He's Richie Valens in La Bamba. He probably did, like, his own singing or whatever. And he's in Young Guns 1 and 2 as Chavez, an Indian native. Great. Then you got Mads Mikkelsen. He's known for creating the Death Star, then creating the little glitch in it that Leia and then would blow up. Maybe we'll see him in Cassian Andor, like I said. He's in this film called The Hunt, where he's blamed for doing something wrong that he hasn't done. And he's known for giving me the chills all over again as a prequel version of Hannibal Lecter in this series called Hannibal, with, like, Lawrence Fishburne and a few other people. Then you got my boy, Marlon Brando. He's known for screaming, "Hey, Stella!" on the streets. That's probably been, like, a Broadway musical. He is known for being Jor-El or Kor-El, Superman's birth father in Richard Donner's Superman. And he is known for doing threatening mafia threats in my favorite film series ever, The Godfather. God. Then you got this guy named Sam Neill. He's known for returning for Jurassic World 3 along with Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern and the original people from, like, Jurassic World 1 and 2. He's known for taking off his sunglasses and hearing dinosaurs and feeling them for Jurassic World Park, and then fighting his way once again for Jurassic Park 3. He's known for a non-singing, non-animal talking version of The Jungle Book, and he's known for being an adult version of Damien Thorne in The Omen 3. Why not? He's known for rolling on the floor but Sean Connery for James Bond. He's known for putting on tights probably twice, because he was Robin of Locksley and then also known as Robin Hood And then Robin Hood's brother Maid Marian.